Good morning. Welcome to the UU Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We are delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Rebecca Senaway, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or a visitor, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer after the service, please take a red mug and members will seek you out and make sure that you are warmly welcomed. If you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. Today, we have a special ceremony to welcome new members to our congregation. Membership Director Bethany Thornton will lead this ceremony.
Good morning, everybody. Can I have our new members for today please come forward? That's perfect right there. Perfect. I'm going to take a moment to introduce everybody before we have our ceremony. So first we have Corey Hallemeyer over there with her two girls. And Corey has to say the people are just so great here at Sunnyhill, and she's looking forward to being part of a community that celebrates the diverse beauty of humanity. Next, you've probably seen Stephanie around. She is married to Matt Cirilli, one of our members, and she's joining today. And Steph says she's looking forward to being a part of a community with progressive values and that is accepting of all despite any differences. Sunnyhill gives her Mr. Rogers vibes, and she loves that. Next, we have Sheila Lee, who is the sister of, where is she? Is she here? Sue McCarthy. Sorry. Sheila loves a lot of things at Sunnyhill, but she especially loves the coffee on Sunday mornings and Reverend Jim's sermons. And last we have Keaton Christian, and Keaton looks forward to continuing her spiritual journey as part of a loving, like-minded community, and she hopes that as a member she can take full advantage of all the many opportunities at Sunnyhill to positively contribute to the Pittsburgh community, the world, and the lives of others. And she has her daughter up here with her.
Today we welcome into our congregation these new members who have chosen to become part of this church. We are so glad to have all of you with us and delighted that you've chosen to share this part of your journey with us. Will you, new members, accept our gifts of fellowship, mutual support, and service? Will you offer us your unique presence and gifts? And will you work with us as we seek to create a community and a world dedicated to compassion and justice? If so, please say, "We will." Congregation, will you welcome these new members with the warmth and comfort of your fellowship? Will you seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts they bring to us? And will you share our triumphs and our struggles as our community grows and changes? If so, please say, "We will." We will. Let us say together the words you can see on our screens, which reflect our common purpose and common love in the midst of our diversity of beliefs. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Please join me in welcoming our new members.
gentle reminder to everyone to please silence your cell phones so we are not interrupted this morning. Today's service is titled Pride, a protest and a party. As we celebrate Pride, it's important to remember that it was and is both a celebration and a liberation movement, a party and an uprising rolled into one. It's a time to look back with gratitude to some of the early leaders of the movement and to look at what still needs to be done. Our opening words and chalice lighting this morning are a responsive reading. After each phrase I read, please respond by saying, "You are loved and you are welcome here." Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, you are loved and you are welcome here. Whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful, you are loved and you are welcome here. Whether you have untold stories buried deep inside or stories that have been forced beyond the edges of comfort, you are loved and you are welcome here. Whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises, you are loved and you are welcome here. Whatever is on your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment, you are loved and you are welcome here.
Good morning. Please rise and body your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn, "There's a River Flowing Through My Soul." Please be seated.
We have a capital campaign moment, and here to share that moment with us is Wendy Bell and Michaeline Staville. Come
on. So we didn't trip. We're happy about that.
The first hurdle.
I'm Michaeline Stabile. In case you can't tell us apart, I'm Michaeline Stabile.
And I'm Wendy Bell, not that Wendy Bell.
It was a year ago during Pride Week that Wendy and I were asked to share our thoughts about the importance of finding one's spiritual home in a progressive religious community. At that time, we reflected upon the path that led us here and the many precious gifts that Sunnyhill has given to us over the last 4 years. As a same-sex married couple, we lived behind a facade for many years. With Sunnyhill came the ability to be authentic. In her book, The Gift of Imperfection, Brené Brown describes authenticity as the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. And even more amazing, when asked for our religious affiliation, without hesitation, we grew to reply that we belong to a marvelous UU community called Sunnyhill. And we use the term belonging in the very most literal sense. True belonging is an elusive concept, as we have learned throughout our time together. Brené Brown, in her book, Atlas of the Heart, describes true belonging as the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness both in being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. To Brown, true belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. In our time here at Sunnyhill, we have grown and flourished, basking in the generosity of Sunnyhill's many contributions to our life. Among them, true belonging. Gradually, during this past year, we've become more and more focused on the gifts we can offer back. We've taken to heart one of Reverend Jim's guidances, that there comes a time when one must take off the bib and put on the apron.
So Michaeline has described how we've settled into Sunnyhill's routine quite comfortably and become more focused on what we can give back. We've devoted our energies to help support through Sunnyhill's LGBTQIA+ social justice team our trans brothers and sisters as they suffer the greatest onslaught of hate and anti-trans legislation known in memory. But Sunnyhill has given us so much more than this important platform. It soothes, energizes, and inspires us every Sunday and urges spiritual growth in community in so many ways. It also has allowed us to join with our allies here to address so many social injustices on the reproductive, environmental, criminal, and incarceration fronts, just to name a few. Through these efforts, Sunnyhill has given us hope that the next generations will move ever closer to realizing a beloved community. Sunnyhill is relevant and powerful, and we are excited and honored to be a part of it all. So when we heard about the Capital campaign and all that was needed and could be accomplished, we found that we wanted to be a part of Sunnyhill's future. It's exciting to think that we could give Sunnyhill kids more space to learn and grow for many years to come. And just think how wonderful coffee and conversation would be in a new kitchen and a larger fellowship area. And you know, this house is 100 years old. It deserves some TLC after all this time, if for no other reason than providing a safer and more secure building. And who doesn't want to get out from underneath debt? Supporting this Be the Future Capital campaign in a substantial way is not an easy decision for any of us as we face the uncertainties of our future. But we believe that Sunnyhill deserves our support for all it has given, continues to give each of us, and those who will come after us.
Maya Angelou challenges us as follows. If you're going to live, leave behind a legacy. Make an impact on the world that can never be erased. In the same vein, William James has said, The greatest purpose of life is to live it for something that will last longer than you.
Thank you for listening. We hope our story will inspire you to create your own legacy by supporting this capital campaign generously. We all have a perfect opportunity to be the future. We can do this together. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. For today's Time for All Ages, we're going to stay comfy and cozy in our seats because our pictures are going to be on the screen. Our story today is entitled Pride, and it's the story of Harvey Milk and the Rainbow Flag. It was written by Rob Sanders and illustrated by Steven Salerno. You have to give them hope. Hope for a better world, hope for a better tomorrow. Harvey Milk was an ordinary man, but he had an extraordinary dream. That dream would change history. Harvey dreamed that everyone, including members of the LGBTQ community, would have equality. He dreamed that he and his friends would be treated like everyone else. He dreamed that one day people would be able to live and love as they pleased. With his New York accent, Harvey talked to everyone about his dream. His voice boomed, his body bounced with energy and excitement. Some people listened, a few agreed, most did not. But Harvey's big voice and his big dream wouldn't be stopped. He discovered that the best way to change laws was to help make laws. In 1977, Harvey Milk took a big step toward that dream when he became one of the first openly gay people to be elected to political office in the United States. Harvey and his friends planned marches to protest inequality and unfair laws. And just days before one of the marches, Harvey had an idea. A symbol, he thought. We need a symbol that shows who we are and how we feel. Something to carry during the march. Something to make people feel that they're part of a community. Something to give people hope. Something extraordinary. Harvey knew an artist who could help, Gilbert Baker. Harvey asked. Gilbert said, "We need a flag." Volunteers arrived to help Gilbert's design come to life. Together, they dipped fabric into large barrels filled with vivid, vibrant dyes. They cut and pieced and sewed until Harvey, Gilbert, and the other activists had a flag with 8 colorful stripes, a flag that Harvey hoped would give hope. Quote, "Rights are only won by those who make their voices heard," end quote. On June 23, 1978, when it was time for the march, a breeze stirred in San Francisco. The flag unfurled. The wind blew. The flag fluttered, flapped, and flew. A rainbow, as bright and unique as the community who walked behind it, led the march. Harvey and the people asked for equality. They asked to be treated like everyone else. They asked to live and love as they pleased. They hoped the march would make a difference. Harvey was proud of the flag and proud of himself. He hoped others would be proud too. 5 months later, on the morning of November 27, 1978, Harvey and the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, were assassinated. Their lives were taken by a man who did not think like Harvey, or feel like him, or love like him. The flag did not fly on that dark, sad night. Instead, thousands and thousands of people marched silently, carrying candles. The candlelight wove through the streets of San Francisco, up and down hills and around city buildings. A mile of glowing candlelight in honor of 2 lives lost. That could have been the end of Harvey's dream and the colorful flag, but it wasn't. More rainbow flags were created. Some of the colors changed. 8 stripes became 6 stripes, but the meaning of the flag did not change. It was a flag of equality. More and more people began to think of the flag as their flag, and they began to feel pride, and they began to have hope. In 1994, Gilbert Baker designed another rainbow flag. This one was larger than all the rest. People marched side by side carrying the flag, a proud mile-long rainbow floating through New York City. The flag wove through the streets, up and down avenues and boulevards and around city buildings. The people demanded equality. They demanded to be treated like everyone else. They demanded to live and love as they pleased. They were proud. They had hope. They would make a difference. More rainbow flags were made. Some were printed on bumper stickers and T-shirts. Others were hoisted onto lampposts on Halsted Street in Chicago. One was hung in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Soon, the rainbow flag was flying in other countries, like Brazil, England, Israel, Russia, Singapore, and Turkey. The rainbow flag now unfurled on farms, in suburbs, in cities. The flag flew proudly outside public buildings, hotels, shops, restaurants, churches, and homes. And once, on June 26, 2015, the White House was awash in colors of the rainbow flag. Equality, pride, hope, love. Harvey's dream became a flag for us all. The end. And now the kids will join us downstairs for an RE class.
As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
The choir is singing a couple songs today from the Singing City Songbook. Singing City's a choir in Philadelphia that was founded as an integrated choir in 1948. And since then, they have sustained their mission of inclusion, social justice, and community building. So this is a protest, a layered protest song from Carrie Lawrence Williams, one of their composers.
Good morning. My name is Joe Barker. I'm a member of the pastoral care team here at Sunnyhill. The pastoral care team is made up of Sunnyhill members who are trained in how to be a caring, listening presence for members of our congregation. We don't function as therapists or social workers, but as individuals who are willing to sit or walk with those in needs of support. We hope that you will contact a member of the pastoral care team when you have a need. If you have any questions, please contact Reverend Jim, Beth Thornton, or a member of the pastoral care team. You can submit a joy or sorrow on the Sunnyhill website or by filling out a form that is available in our foyer. After each joy or sorrow that I read, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." We have a sorrow this morning from Colleen Kimberlin. She writes, "In December of last year, my position was eliminated, leaving me unemployed. The stress of this has negatively affected my mental health as I have struggled to find employment. I am starting to panic, as my unemployment will run out soon. We would be grateful for any prayers and good energy you can send our way. And if you know of any marketing or communication positions, I would be grateful for the lead. For Colleen, we hold you in our hearts." We have a joy this morning from Reverend Jim. What a great joy it was to see so many Sunnyhill members involved in Lebo Pride yesterday, as event organizers, as volunteers at our booth, and as participants. Many thanks to you all. For all those involved in Lebo Pride, we hold you in our hearts. As we listen to our musical meditation, for those joys and sorrows, unspoken but close to our hearts, we invite anyone who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and return to your seat.
The meditation song we're singing, "See Me," is another one from Singing City, and it's a repeated chant. So as you get it, we'd love for you to join us. See me, see me, see my
be my light.
Today is Father's Day, as I'm sure most of you know, which, like Mother's Day, can sometimes be somewhat complicated and emotionally fraught. But in recognition of Father's Day, I'd like to share this poem that I wrote that describes the way we sometimes try and fall short of our aspirations. In my haste this morning, my head filled with 1,000 thoughts about what I must accomplish, my heart filled with concerns for lives being lost through disease, through violence, my soul filled with a kind of weariness and fatigue that is born of restless days and sleepless nights. I knocked a mug off of the kitchen counter and it fell to the floor, shattering into scattered shards. I cursed and screamed and stomped and scared our dog, who ran out into the backyard. I quieted myself as I remembered my daughter asleep upstairs, and picked up the pieces of the mug, which proclaimed proudly on one large piece that remained intact, "World's Greatest Dad." Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Let us take this moment and hold it together without the need to hurry on too quickly, without the desire to get on to whatever is next, without our prognostications about the future, without our belabored postmortems of the past, without anger or angst, without anxiety or apprehension, without worry or wallowing, not denying hard truths, but not getting lost in those truths either. Let us take this moment and in silence breathe in the love of just now. There is wisdom in this moment if we are open to it. There is a gateway in this moment that leads to more compassion, more justice. There is a way of being here together that burns away fear, that allows our souls to soar, that causes our hearts to sing. May we be open to the wisdom of this moment and each moment of our lives. Amen. To fully comprehend the meaning and significance of Pride Month and its various accompanying celebrations, we do need to understand it in its historical context as both a protest and a party. You can't really have a Pride party without recognizing the importance of protest, and you can't really have an effective and sustainable Pride protest without recognizing the importance of the party side of things. These two aspects of Pride have been intertwined since the very beginning of the movement. Pride is rooted in the Stonewall Uprising that took place some 55 years ago. As described in an article from the Library of Congress, June 28, 1969, marks the beginning of the Stonewall Uprising, a series of events between police and LGBTQ plus protesters which stretched over 6 days. It was not the first time police raided a gay bar, and it was not the first time LGBTQ plus people fought back. But the events that would unfold over the next 6 days would fundamentally change the discourse surrounding LGBTQ plus activism in the United States. While Stonewall became well known due to the media coverage and subsequent annual Pride traditions, it was a culmination of years of activism. Lest we ever forget, intimate same-sex relationships were illegal and punishable in some places with prison time until relatively recently in our nation's history. In fact, it wasn't until 1980 that same-sex relationships were found to be legal at all in New York and here in Pennsylvania. And of course, same-sex marriage was not legally recognized in Pennsylvania until 2014 and nationwide in 2015. When I first came here in 2014, I officiated at a dozen same-sex marriages free of charge in that first year for couples, many of whom had been waiting for decades to exercise their right to marry the person they loved. A number of you here today were among the couples who had to hide or disguise your relationships for years and years in order to avoid legal or work-related reprisals. But none of the progress that has been made is etched in stone. We have seen in recent years just how fragile and vulnerable human rights can be. We have seen, especially at the state level, regression with regard to LGBTQ plus rights rather than continued progress. But any progress that has been made at all in this country can be traced back to Stonewall, a protest that was also a party. So it seems fitting to take a look at what's going on nationally and internationally with regard to LGBTQ plus rights right now and see what there is to protest and what there is to celebrate. Otherwise, our Pride events are merely performative exercises. Internationally, same-sex marriage rights are rapidly expanding. In recent years, more than 30 countries have recognized same-sex marriage. Estonia became the first Baltic nation to legalize it, while Greece became the first Orthodox Christian majority country to do so. Thailand's parliament also passed a bill legalizing same-sex marriage. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres recently praised the work of LGBTQ plus activists, fighting to outlaw discrimination and secure equality before the law. But he noted that, in his words, there is a worrying surge in the opposite direction. New laws are codifying old bigotries, exploiting fears, and stoking hate. Much of this surge in the opposite direction is coming from the United States. As reported in the Washington Post, the UN Human Rights Committee's review into the state of human rights in the United States, the first in 9 years, expressed concern at the increase in the number of state laws that severely restrict the rights of persons on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender identity. These have included efforts to prevent trans people from using bathrooms or taking part in school or college sports that match their gender. After Republican-led legislatures passed a record number of bills limiting the rights of trans children in recent years, they have increasingly begun targeting trans adults. The Post article continues, Canada updated its advisory last August to warn LGBTQ plus people traveling to the United States that they could be negatively affected by state and local laws. Still, the number of bills targeting LGBTQ plus rights that actually passed in state legislatures in the first few months of 2024 was far lower than the same period last year, as the Washington Post reported in April, although LGBTQ plus activists remain cautious that the trend may not last. And by the way, the other country that the UN Human Rights Committee singles out as having become more restrictive of LGBTQ plus rights in recent years is Russia, where recently a judge ordered a woman to spend 5 days in jail for the crime of wearing rainbow earrings, according to local media reports. Increasingly, the US and Russia seem to be vying for the title of worst human rights nation, especially with regard to such issues as mass incarceration and criminalizing being gay or transgender. Meanwhile, in news from the Vatican, the Pope continues to send mixed messages regarding LGBTQ plus rights by stating on at least one occasion, "Who am I to judge?" while still affirming the Catholic Church's stance that being gay is, and I quote, intrinsically immoral and contrary to the natural law. The Pope also somehow managed to use a gay slur, apologize for using that slur, and then use the same slur again, all within the span of about a week. Again, as we look at all this news, we can see some things to protest and some things to celebrate. One of the distinguishing features of our church is the pride flag that we display over our front door. We've become known to many as the church with the rainbow flag. And at every newcomers class that we have here at Sunnyhill, multiple participants have mentioned that it was the flag, among other things, that drew them to this congregation. Whether gay or straight, many people come to our doors because we not only display the flag, we also back it up with actions, with advocacy, with support and partnerships with local LGBTQ plus organizations, and much more. For us, the flag is not just an empty symbol, but a call to action and promise of love, support, and full inclusion for LGBTQ plus people. Just as the rainbow was originally a sign of God's covenant with humanity, so is the rainbow flag a sign of our covenant, our sacred promises to work for all who have been marginalized and oppressed because of their sexuality and gender identity and expression. I sometimes forget the importance of both the symbol of the pride flag and the power of the underlying commitments that it represents. But I was reminded of its importance when I read some of the recent news regarding the wife of a certain Supreme Court justice. I am going there. Again, as reported in the Post, Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr.'s wife, Martha Ann, recently told a woman posing as a conservative supporter that she wanted to fly a Catholic flag at the couple's Virginia home in response to a pride flag in her neighborhood. "You know what I want?" the justice's wife said to the woman. "I want a Sacred Heart of Jesus flag because I have to look across the lagoon at the pride flag for the next month." But Ms. Alito said that after she suggested the Sacred Heart of Jesus flag as a retort to the symbol for LGBTQ rights, her husband said, "Oh, please don't put up a flag." And for just a moment, I found myself in sympathy with Samuel Alito. Martha Ann Alito said she had agreed for now not to fly the Sacred Heart flag, but that she had told her husband that when you are free of this nonsense, whatever that means, I'm putting it up and I'm going to send them a message every day, maybe every week. I'll be changing the flags. She added that she would come up with her own flag, which would be white with yellow and orange flames, and would read in Italian, "Shame." What I think is shameful is that anyone, let alone a family member of a Supreme Court justice, would find objectionable a symbol of basic human rights. I find it shameful that in a country that likes to call itself the land of the free, there are still powerful people who want to deny freedom to people who have fought long and hard to be recognized as whole and beautiful and just as deserving of human rights as anyone else. I find it shameful that in the United States of America, once hailed as a beacon of Enlightenment values expanding and celebrating human rights, is now a place where travelers from other countries are warned about the restrictive laws and personal threats that LGBTQ people may face here. I find myself wanting to say to Martha Ann Alito and others who would turn back the clock on LGBTQ rights in this country, in Alito's own words, in Italian, vergogna, shame. But shaming people is not really what we do or who we are as Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a religious tradition based not in shame, but in love. Our Universalist forebears believed that all of us are children of a loving God and that all of us deserve to be seen and appreciated and loved for who we are, not shamed into hiding or pretending that we are something else. Our Unitarian forebears believed that the focus of religion should be on expanding the idea of covenant so that it becomes more open and inclusive rather than more closed and restrictive. Our UU values put love at the center. And just as love is the opposite of fear, so too is pride the opposite of shame. Each pride protest or party in which we participate casts out shame, casts out bigotry, casts out the figurative demons of narrow-minded prejudice and cynical political manipulation of people's worst fears and hatreds. Pride casts out shame and makes room for love. Pride casts out shame and makes room for love. I can think of no better statement of why we must embrace pride, especially now, when any and all progress that has been made is threatened by those who would put shame on banners, celebrating their own hatefulness, their willful disregard and disdain for the rights of others. I hope and pray that in the months and years ahead of us, each and all of us will work to make real the promise of our rainbow flag, that we will continue the protest and the party, that we will do everything in our power to cast out shame with pride, making room for love in our hearts and in the heart of our country and our world. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise again, embody your spirit, and join in singing, "There is More Love Somewhere." There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
More hope.
There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere.
More peace.
There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna Thank you. Please be seated.
Our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month of June is the 4th annual Juneteenth celebration, which recently took place at the Mount Lebanon Park. Sunnyhill was a gold level sponsor and committed to raising $1,000 to support this event. As of earlier this week, we had raised more than $800, so we are almost there. If you'd like to make a gift via our online giving system, you can do so by going to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says Online Giving and then follow the instructions. Or you can give by text at 412-324-3130. All text gifts will go to our Share the Plate offering. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. If you're writing a check, please put Share the Plate in the memo line.
This is another song that Singing City Songbook. This one is by Dilworth, who's their artistic and music director at the moment. Let peace and justice lead the way. The choir's going to sing this through just the melody, and then they're going to break into their awesome parts as we continue the song. Feel free to join in. It's very, very singable.
Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Just one brief announcement. Our Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly will be taking place this week. And if you're interested, next Sunday's worship service from General Assembly will stream live online from uua.org at 1 o'clock p.m. That's next Sunday at 1 p.m. So you can still come here and double up on your worship services next Sunday. We'll close with these words. With gratitude for the freedom to be our true, authentic selves, with grief for those whose pain was unbearable and left us too soon, with the confidence that a sense of community banishes isolation and loneliness, with the rainbow flag flying high a sense of beloved community among us, and the joy that comes from making new connections, may we live the spirit of pride. Go in peace.